Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation is Sri Rag Mahalla Panjwa. Tichar Vasay Suhelari, Jichar Sathi Naal. Ja Sathi Uth Chalya, Ta Tanha Kural. Man Bairag Baya, Darsan Dekhne Ka Chao. ਧਨ ਸੋ ਤੇਰਾ ਥਾਨ ਰਹਾਓ ਜਿਚਰ ਵਸਿਆ ਕੰਤ ਘਰ ਜਿਉ ਜਿਉ ਸਭ ਕਹਾਤ ਜਾਂ ਉੱਠੀ ਚਲਸੀ ਕੰਤੜਾ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਪੁੱਛੈ ਤੇਰੀ ਬਾਤ ਪਈੜੇ ਸੋ ਸੇਵ ਤੂੰ ਸਾਹੜੇ ਸੁਖ ਵਸ ਗੁਰ ਮਿਲ ਚੱਜ ਅਚਾਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਤੁਧ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਲੱਗੈ ਦੁੱਖ ਸਭਨਾ ਸਹਵਰੇ ਵੰਜਣਾ ਸਭੇ ਮੁਕਲਾਵਣ ਹਾਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਧਨ ਸੁਹਾਗਣੀ ਜਿਨ ਸਹਿ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਤਿਚਰ ਵਸੇ ਸੁਹੇਲੜੀ ਜਿਚਰ ਸਾਥੀ ਨਾਲ The mind body continues to exist and has value as long as its companion, the self, the creator within, the source, which is the life animating force, persists. As long as the life animating force resides within the body has value. Ja sathi uth chalya, when the life force withdraws, ta tanha kural, the mind-body structure is dismantled. So no sooner does the companion leave that the habitat, the mind-body, is reduced to nothing. So here's the indication for us that this particular structure in which we are housed, or in which the self is housed, has limited warranty, and as soon as the owner decides to move on, it's junked. It has no intrinsic value of its own, much like the value of an appliance is dependent on its function. If it is not functioning, well, it's of no use. So Gurbani's central message is that the body has a particular function, a particular purpose. And what is that? It is to enable the sentient being that we call a jeev to realize, to identify with its true nature. And so this passage uses the metaphor of marriage, of a prospective bride, a girl who has come of age and is ready for marriage. So a marriage brings forth progeny. Similarly, a spiritual marriage between the jeev and the self within gives rise to a perfected awareness. That union results in a perfected awareness of the Supreme Creator. And that is the purpose for which a body-mind complex is needed. So because the metaphor is one of marriage, we have to really look at the highly patriarchal Indian culture, where prospective brides were, and still are, required to be versed in running a household. That means kitchen work, cooking, but she's also expected to be groomed in the arts, music, and there is in fact a list of shingar, as it is called, that a girl has to go through. This is training so that she can, quote unquote, please her husband and make for a happy home. So there is preparation, that's the idea. In a like manner, the individual self, the jeev, has to prepare itself so that it can please, quote unquote, the higher self. And so human birth is regarded as being as where the self is in a paternal home, paternalistic. It is a ripe time to prepare yourself for that union. Pekye sa sev tu Saure Sukhavas. So Peke comes from the house of your father. In other words, you are in a protected environment. And when you're in this protected environment, the idea is that you make use of this protection to prepare yourself for what is to come. And so, like the bride, the expectation is that the individual Jeev will prepare itself while it is in this protected home to learn its true identity. And how will it do it? It does it by shaking off its ego consciousness, the trick of Maya, Trishna, that leads to Moh. So in other words, it has to recognize that its attachment, that its Moh, is really, illusory, and that it needs to get out of duality, Dukh Sukh, because this is the world of opposites. That's the whole game. And this is the training for which it is here. Now, this sort of training comes only from the Gur or Satgur, the enlightener. Man bairag baya, darsan dekhne ka chao. Now, man bairag is an important word here. It usually is used as a renunciation, but perhaps a more appropriate description would be cultivating a sense of non-attachment. In other words, to shake off that moh, the aversion and attachment to things of the senses, kind of settling the mind, quietening the mind as a result, because otherwise the mind is zipping around at 1 billion miles a second. So you begin to withdraw from things of the senses. In other words, you first contain the velocity of the mind. It's like crossing a threshold. You've got to look both sides. So in order to do that, you have to stop. You have to really settle down a bit. And then that is the precondition. It means the mind is now ready to receive. So this passage echoes many other verses in Gurbani which tell us that human life is a wonderful opportunity. It's an indication that the psyche, the individual psyche, the Jeev, has matured enough to reach a threshold where it is expected to make the next leap. And that leap is union with the Creator. Sabna Sore Vanjana Sab Buklavanhar. Buklavanhar means you're worthy now of being married, of union. And so it reminds us here that human life is the culmination of a long evolutionary process. In order for you to make this quantum leap, don't miss the opportunity. With that thought, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.